What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to 302 Birds alongside Adam Den to my right, Gerasimos Gervasilio, our guest, the Blue Coats radio color announcer, contributor for The Wit, for Rowan University, play-by-play, soccer, best ball, you name it, he does it. I just want to say thank you, Gerasimus, for coming on tonight. So appreciative for having
Yeah,
you on.
thank you for having me, and you really hit all the boxes there. I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm very happy to be on here and talk with you, Jesse, and you as well, Adam, and ready to get into this Philly action that we got going on.
Absolutely. First off, before we get too deep into things, we got to talk about the Eagles Niners preview coming up. Big game, divisional game. Niners coming into Philly. I can't wait personally. I cannot wait for the Eagles defense to absolutely dominate Brock Purdy. I think that personally, that dude, he's had some bad games, and he has the ability to be rattled. And guys like Jacoby Dean, like Jalen Carter, like Jordan Davis, they certainly have the ability to do so. And on the other end, on the offensive side of the ball, I do think that the offense has the ability to make the defense of the Niners hurt, because the Niners defense is not one of the best in the league by far. It's up there, but without the guys like Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, he's on the injured list coming into this game. He's a big loss. I feel like Saquon Barkley's had a couple of runs going into the playoffs where he can make the Niners interior line pay. And I personally, I see the Eagles defense up clutch. I see Saquon Barkley coming up with a couple of big runs, and eventually, I see the Eagles coming out with a victory on Sunday. Adam, what do you think?
Well, Jesse, you really make me the villain here.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Yeah, I am nowhere near as optimistic as you about Sunday, and I think it largely stems from the inconsistencies that I continue to see from Philadelphia on the offensive side. And I think you pointed out that it does seem to be a good matchup. I've talked a lot about uh, the weaknesses of the 49ers defense throughout this season due to the injuries that they've sustained. I'm going to challenge you guys. Can you guys name the San Francisco 49ers potential two starting linebackers on Sunday? You guys think you can do it?
I already know one. Former
Okay.
Eagle Kaiser White coming back.
Yep.
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 And former Eagle, I believe, Michael Kendricks.
Eric.
Eric.
You
Oh,
got
is it Eric?
You got
Oh
It's
my
Eric.
God.
It's the brother. Yep.
All right. All right.
We got these 30
Goodness me. They really don't have anyone at linebacker.
No. The depth of this 49ers defense due to the injuries that they've sustained is really tough. And you saw that against Seattle the other night. They were really able to move the ball on the outside pretty much however they wanted, with an interior offensive line that has had its struggles over the course of this year. And so I truly believe that if the Philadelphia Eagles offense is, competent in any way, they're going to be able to move the football. This is also one of the worst pass rushers in football. They are 30th, I think, in time to throw allowed over the course of the NFL. And it's just, they've lost so many pass rushers over the course of this season. It's going to be tough. That being said, let's take a look at the operation on the offensive side of the football and tell me you can have any confidence in this Philadelphia Eagles team. They have looked disjointed throughout the entirety of this regular season due to a variety of issues. And I think now we're looking at a scenario in which you're getting Lane Johnson back, but he's going to be at a difficult health. My hope for the Eagles offense is that they were going to be able to get into 13 personnel and run the football against this 49ers team in a way that they showed flashes of. You think about early in that Dallas game. You think about, even parts of that Green Bay Packers game that they were successful in. And I'm not seeing that as a possibility if Lane Johnson is truly as hampered as he's seen throughout the week. He just started practicing yesterday. Like, that's how bad this has been. So I'm very hesitant there. And then on the other side of the ball, I mean, it's strength on strength, right? I trust this Philadelphia defense a little more, I agree, but you have to point to the success of this 49ers offense and what they've been able to do with the resources they've had. Kyle Shanahan's one of the best play callers in this league, and the way they manufacture touches for their skill position players in space is so crucial. Christian McCaffrey in the screen game, and Brock Purdy's ability to extend plays with his legs and with his arm. I mean, some of the pockets that he was working with, even in this Seattle game, without Ricky Pearsall, and now he might have him back for this game. I think that's going to be crucial. So, really excited for this one. I'm sure we're going to talk a lot more about it. I want to take up too much more time, but I am much more pessimistic, I would say.
Yeah. Drosmos, as our guest, I gotta give you the whole floor. What are your thoughts going into this one?
Well, I'll start with what you were saying, Jesse. Like, I kind of am looking forward to this game because the Niners, Eagles-Niners has kind of turned into a rivalry ever since that NFC Championship game. And then they had the big win in the regular season in 2023. And then now we're back in the playoffs. Niners coming back to Philly. I think it's going to be a tense matchup. I think these two teams are really going to jaw at each other. So it's going to be very entertaining. And I think the Eagles can overall win this game. But I am going to I think they'll win. But Adam has a great point because you look at the Eagles this season, the one thing that's been their Achilles heel and the reason why they lose games is the invisibleness, if you want to call it. I don't even know that's a word, but the offense hasn't done anything mostly this season. I mean, Kevin Patullo, oh no. I mean, he's just not it sometimes. And I think you look at Saquon Barkley, he has regressed, which you kind of expected after a 2,000-yard season, but they haven't really been able to get him involved as much as I think I would have hoped. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, somehow still 1,000-yard receivers, so that's a plus, I think. But this game, I think Jalen Hurts and Kevin Patullo, they got to throw down the middle of the field every single play because, again, you mentioned it, Kaiser White, Eric Kendricks. I didn't even know which Kendricks it was. So the fact of the matter is they got to tackle or they got to go after the middle of the field and hit A.J. Brown in the slant because we know how dominant A.J. Brown can be when he receives that football off that slant and the yards after the catch. I mean, that's his thing, and he hasn't been able to do that a lot this season. So, and then Devontae Smith, I think he'll be a big piece as well for the Eagles. But overall, if for the Eagles offense to be successful, they need to find A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in the middle of the field, and they got to find ways to get Saquon Barkley involved. And I think Jalen Hurts, I think we haven't mentioned him enough. There's not many quarterbacks I trust more than Jalen Hurts in a playoff game. I know Jalen Hurts has had his moments, right? 2 turnovers in one play wasn't a bright one against the Chargers. We all remember that. But I think he can really show up in these big moments, especially at home in front of the Philadelphia fans. The pressure's going to be there, and he usually lives up to it. But with that being said, the Eagles' defense is going to be the reason why they win this game. Let's be honest. I mean, Vic Fangio, so great in his second year as defensive coordinator. That team, just Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis having big years, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, both Pro Bowlers, Zach Bond being the guy he is in the middle of the field. So this is a team, and not to mention as well, Jalen Phillips, since he came to the Eagles, he's been such a great spark. Shout out Howie Roseman. But yeah, I mean, this is a defense that is top 5 in the league, maybe top 3 even. And it's going to be the reason why the Eagles make it far in the playoffs if they can get past this Niners team. But with respect to the Niners, like you said, Adam, a really good offense. Brock Purdy, as much as I don't like the guy, he is good at football. CMC is going to be probably the biggest problem for the Eagles. And then the defense is very banged up, but I'm one of the guys that likes Robert Saleh, right? I liked him with the Jets, I'm not going to lie. Like, I defended him for most of the time. And him as a defensive coordinator.
I do remember that at the Shadow Sports, the play-by-play sports broadcasting camp where the two of us met. I believe you did. I believe from many moons ago, you did defend him. So
I did defend him, but I do think he's better as a coordinator, and you have to admit, with less, he's done more, right?
Yeah.
He's done a really good job with that defense, and with the way the Eagles' offense has been playing, very inconsistent, very predictable. That's Kevin Patullo's issue, in my opinion. He's very predictable with his play calling. It's so ineffective, and against a Niners defense that's even depleted, but with Robert Saleh on the other end, I think it's going to be evenly matched. This could be a close game, I think, but I think the Birds win by, honestly, a field goal. It's going to be a close game.
Yeah, and I want to hammer, before we move on, I want to hammer the Robert Saleh thing home really quick. The 49ers are not a good defense, but the 49ers play well against bad offenses because they're able to rise to the occasion. They don't switch looks on you very often. They're very set. It's a lot of cover four. It's a lot of, just zone. Let's work this how you want to work it. But at the same time, with an Eagles offense which struggles at marrying the run and the pass so often, and like you said, becomes predictable. On third down, we're going to be in this 3rd and long, and we're going to pass. If you put this 49ers defense in obvious passing situations, they're going to be able to hold up just because that's who they are. That's their DNA. So I think for the Eagles, it's going to be able to be their ability to get ahead in early downs. That's going to be the key to this game. And, I don't know if I trust them to do it. We'll find out.
This is sort of just recency bias, but I don't know if I trust Brock Purdy. I really
that's
don't.
fair. That's fair. I think he's good, but he's not like, I don't think he's like Jalen Hurts. Like there's times where he doesn't show up. I can agree with that.
Especially after they lost to Seattle, where Brock Purdy led the Niners offense to put up a grand total of 3 points. Granted, Seattle's defense is really damn good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's the Mike McDonald defense, man.
they I don't want to say they're the Legion. They are the new Legion of Boom. But they're good. But at the same time, man, you're 19th for 27, only 127 yards on the day. Like that is not good at all.
Well, let me push back, Jesse. Because I think if you go back and you watch the film from that game, I think you see a quarterback who offensive just kill this offense and the ability to have a downfield receiver. They essentially give up on throwing the ball more than 10 yards down the field because the aggressiveness of the Seattle defense in disguising looks and the pressures that they were able to force on this 49ers offense without Trent Williams, I think was key to this game. Now, Trent Williams' status on Sunday is going to be unclear. A really big deal. It is unclear. And it seems like it is leaning like he's not going to play. So I think that is the thing that you look towards and saying, hey, maybe Brock Purdy's going to be limited. But guys, Brock Purdy is first in EPA per play over the last 6 weeks. Like, Brock Purdy has played like the best quarterback in football over the last 6 weeks. So I have all the faith in the world in Brock Purdy to be able to get this done if he has his left tackle. And that's
I was just about to mention that actually because Trent Williams, I believe, did return to practice today. So I think they're going to, in my opinion, I think he's going to play. I think they're going to try to get him out there. I mean, they have to, right? That's the only way they're going to be able to win because, again, I really do trust this Eagles defense to go after Brock Purdy. And the Niners aren't going to have a chance on offense if they don't at least have him. And I'm not going to lie, an injured Trent Williams is better than whoever they got right now. So I think you got to get him out there at all costs. And same thing with the Eagles. I mean, well, I don't even think it's an Eagles thing. We know Lane Johnson isn't going to miss this game. Lane Johnson himself is going to just throw himself on the field. That's what I think is going to happen.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Just the broader NFL playoff picture.
Oh, yeah, there's other teams.
Yeah.
Forget about that.
How does that work?
Yeah. What? Philly doesn't run the universe? I mean, sometimes it feels like they do. But not that is not the case. We'll talk first about a really surprising NFL team that actually was able to get into the playoffs with some help. The Carolina Panthers.
Oh, there it is.
They are going up against shout out Dale McHugh, offensive tackle for Ursinus. Big Carolina Panthers fan. Yeah, I know. We actually have a couple of Carolina Panthers fans on our football team. I don't know why.
All right, well, they might be sad. It's coming
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, I would
It's not
agree
looking good.
because they are going up against a potential MVP candidate in Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams. My God, I don't see any way this is not an absolute ass whooping. Personally,
Oh
listen,
man.
Carolina, they've been good. They're a nice team. They're a strong. They're a young team. Bryce Young. I don't want to say he's worth the number one pick yet, but he's taken a big stride in his young career. But they needed help from the Bucks. Or is it the Bucks? They need from the Bucks. Is that who they needed help? Yeah, the Bucks. You know, they needed the Carolina. They needed the Falcons. If the Falcons didn't lose to Carolina, they would be the NFC South champions. And instead, their coach is getting fired. Regardless, they're going up against a really, really tough LA Rams team. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, who is my my fantasy goat, my fantasy legend. Dude won me a plethora of games this year, but I see no world where this Rams team doesn't absolutely destroy the Carolina Panthers. Gerasmos, I gotta know your thoughts on this one.
Well, here's the thing: if you're Carolina, you really don't have anything to lose. I know you can get eliminated from the playoffs, but you've already exceeded expectations. You made the playoffs for the first time since the Cam Newton MVP year, which is crazy to think about, right? So they finally get back to the postseason. You're able to host the game. So that's another big thing, I think. So, I know I'm kind of joking around here thinking that, the Rams, because the Rams are really good. I still think they're the best team in the NFC right now, over the Seahawks by only by a little bit, not by a large margin. But I mean, you never know. The Panthers could be impressive and put up some points on the board and make it competitive, but I just don't see it. I really don't. I think the Rams annihilate the Panthers. I just think they're going to run all over them. I think, Matthew Stafford, just a phenomenal season for him. He is my MVP pick as of right now, or I guess they don't really count playoff games. So I think he's the MVP of the regular season, but it's going to be a really tough game for the Panthers. But I'm very happy with what Dave Canales and Bryce Young have done this season. And honestly, if they lose the game, whatever. They exceed expectations. It's about next year, though, for the Panthers, I think, already. But if they were to get a win, you're just adding more layers to the cake. So I just think, the Rams are going to win this one, I think. But if you're the Panthers, just try to be competitive. And I think you're trending in the right direction no matter what happens.
Yeah, no, I agree there. Adam, what are your thoughts on this one?
I just played devil's advocate all night, man.
Oh, there it is.
I am in agreement that the Rams should win this game. However, there is a scenario I do believe where the Carolina Panthers can be competitive in this football game, and really, I think it goes back to the other game, which they won. Right?
Sorry, you can't have a podcast without a hot take.
You can't. You really can't. And for me, it's their ability to win on third down. Now, we know what this Panthers' offense looked like on first and second down in that respective matchup. They were unable to run the football. They really struggled due to just the ability of this Rams defensive line to create pressure on a consistent basis. But on third down, Bryce Young and Tedero McMillan won constantly on this Rams secondary with Emmanuel Forbes and Ahkello Witherspoon. It was like one of the highest third and long success rates of the entire NFL season, and they were able to escape with a win simply because they won on third and long and they won the turnover battle. There's a lot of luck involved in that. Don't get me wrong. But I think that is a matchup that they're going to look to attack, and that's a matchup that the Arizona Cardinals themselves were able to get the Rams with a little bit a week ago. They hammered Ahkello Witherspoon with Michael Wilson a couple routes on that game, and, I mean, he was one of the worst corners in the NFL in coverage last week. So I think they're going to look to move Ted around and attack that, and if they can potentially put some points on the board, like Rams turn the ball over a couple times, which they've definitely been prone to over the last couple of games. You think back to that Atlanta game the last couple of weeks. Who knows, guys? It's playoff football.
It is indeed. And let's get into another playoff game. Adam, gave out a hot take. I'll give you a hot take. Trevor Lawrence is a top 5 QB, and is the reason that the Jacksonville Jaguars are in the position that they are in, going up against the Buffalo Bills. And to that point, I believe that they are going to keep it again competitive against the Buffalo Bills. We saw how Buffalo did against the Eagles. Josh Allen, I'm sorry, buddy, but you're on fraud watch. You are absolutely on fraud watch after that atrocious game against the Eagles.
No. I gotta step in real quick.
Yeah.
He was hurt in that game. Okay,
yeah,
and also you got to. We know he's accomplished. Josh Allen is an accomplished quarterback. Yep. We know I think he's the best quarterback in the league still. When it's all
wait a minute. You just said that was Stafford.
No. Timeout this season.
You're changing it up.
Timeout. No. I have 2 remaining. All right, that's my first one. Listen, Stafford's been the best quarterback this season, but I think talent-wise, Allen has it. Allen's the number 1 quarterback when you go down the list, right? Running, passing, playmaking ability. It's Josh Allen. He's number 1 in my opinion. But this year, he's been a little shaky. The Bills' defense is, it's okay. It's been a little stable, but the offense hasn't really gotten it going because the receivers are inconsistent as well. But I have to agree with you in the sense that I do like Trevor Lawrence this year. I think he's borderline top 5. I don't know about top 5, but he's borderline. He's been really good this year. I think the Jaguars should win that game. But the reason why you can't count out the Bills is because of the quarterback on the other end of the field.
Go ahead.
Timeout's over.
I mean, all I was gonna say, is that yes, the Bills have gotten back to themselves, but you just go back to the beginning of the season, September 23rd, or no, actually no, that was 2024. Excuse me. You go to let's see the beginning of the year this year. They really, I'll put it this way, they definitely had their struggles. Losing to the Falcons, Josh Allen again putting up 14 points against the Chiefs, barely beating them, against a very weakened Chiefs team, and then the following week the Dolphins putting up 30 against you. So there are ways that I do think that the Bills can struggle at times. There are times where their defense can struggle, and then there are times where this offense can struggle. But at the same time, I also cannot, ignore, Josh Allen. Josh Allen has led this team, in the playoffs year in and year out, and I see no way that the Bills do lose this game. But don't be surprised if it's close, at all. Yeah, let's get into our final playoff.
Can I get
game.
one word in on the Jags?
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh. Yeah. I have the Jags winning this game, and I think I hate that you guys make me the Jags bad guy, because I do not think Trevor Lawrence is a top 5 quarterback by any stretch.
Then how are they winning this game?
Because of their defense, which is second in EPA play over the course of this season, and has been incredible. They are one of the best defenses against the pass in the league. They create the most pressure out of anyone in the league, and this Bills passing game has struggled not because of Josh Allen, but because of the skill position players on the other side. So I think they're going to be able to create pressure on that end and really force Buffalo to try to run the ball. Now, the Bills have a schematic advantage there, right? Because they have been able to utilize these big formations and play action so much, which are things that this Jaguars defense has struggled against. But I think all in all, I trust the Jags offense as a unit more than I trust the Bills' offense, because the Bills' defense, on the other end, has struggled mightily against the run. They've been one of the worst run defenses in football. So I'm going with Jacksonville here. I actually think they are the most complete team in the AFC.
Yeah. No, that's a solid take. One more game, and then we'll get into the coveted Sixers talk that we've been talking about pregame show. Let's talk about the Bears Packers. I am a certified Packers hater. I'm a certified Packers hater. I am a certified Green Bay offense hater. And to me, the Bears, on the other end, they scare me. They really scare me. They, to me, are a dark horse Super Bowl contender. Not just because they are a complete team, but they seem to have that clutch gene that a lot of these teams don't have. That throw a couple weeks back by Caleb Williams, granted against a weakened Green Bay defense, those are the type of throws that win you playoff games, that win you Super Bowl games. And you've got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Every time he gets on, every team he gets signed by seems to go far. The Lions, now Chicago, and obviously Philadelphia. Dunze is awesome. That run game we've seen against us absolutely destroyed us. And to me, the Bears have potential to go really, really far this playoff season. Gerasimus, go ahead. Wait, Oh, I'm sorry. There you
You're
go.
all good.
No.
So, believe it or not, and I'm not joking you all about this, but before the season started, we had a show over at Rowan. It's called Third and Long, and we had to give our hot take of the new season. My hot take, and this is before the season started, was that the Bears were going to make the NFC Championship game.
Ooh.
That was my hot take. It looks pretty good right now, I will say, and it was because of multiple reasons. One, Ben Johnson. Don't sleep on Ben Johnson. That guy has proven to be a great head coach, a great play caller, as we know from his Detroit days. And I thought the pairing with him and Caleb Williams, who I knew was like, basically he had yet to get his super soldier serum. He got it this year with Ben Johnson. Now look at him. He's unstoppable. So I love Caleb Williams. I love the pairing with him and Ben Johnson. And you mentioned it there, Jesse. Like, that pairing right there is why they're going to win games in the playoffs, possibly. I also like Odunze, DJ Moore, two good weapons for Williams this season. DeAndre Swift has been underrated. I think he's really had a good year with the Bears. Shout out DeAndre Swift, Philadelphia's own. But yeah, like, that team is really good. The defense, they've given up a lot of yardage, but they forced turnovers. They had the best turnover differential in the entire league. They actually forced the most turnovers and gave up the least. They protected the football really well. So you can't just push that stat to the side. That's huge, right? If you win the turnover battle for an entire regular season, if you can replicate that in the playoffs, you're going to win games, and especially against the Packers, who, I'm sorry, like, I actually wanted the Eagles to play the Packers. I thought that was going to be the easiest matchup. Like, I thought the Packers are just not it right now.
I thought if you played the Packers, I know this offense is absolutely inept, and Kevin Patullo should be tried for war crimes at some points in the season.
He already got egged. His house already got egged.
Fair enough. Like, listen, I still think a Kevin Patullo-led offense could probably, just the way that the Packers are constructed, I think they could put 30 on those bums. I am a Packers hate. I'm sorry, I'm a Packers hater till the day I die. Everybody, when Michael Parsons signed, everybody was like, "Oh, they're going to be Super Bowl champions," and I'm like, "With what secondary? With what wide receivers? Christian Watson is your number one wide receiver, and that
Jaden Reed's pretty decent.
I ride and die with Christian Watson, baby.
And Christian Watson's a speedster, man.
But as your wide receiver one, be serious.
No, that's true. He shouldn't be wide receiver one.
Well, Tucker Kraft was wide receiver one.
Yeah. Well, Tucker Kraft's hurt, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
Micah Parsons got hurt now. So
Yep.
the Packers it's just not the year for them again,
Yeah.
unfortunately
I mean,
for them.
Adam, are you going to be devil's advocate here?
I am going to be devil's
Again?
advocate. I don't know how every single one I'm going to end up this way. Yeah, I am not as high on the Bears as everybody else, and I think this is going to be a really competitive game. I believe in what the Bears do offensively. I think their ability to really work in play action over the course of these last couple of weeks has been huge. Colston Loveland, one of the best tight ends in football. Like, he has developed so much at the course of the season as a blocker and as a pass catcher, and I think he's going to be huge against the Packers defense that's probably missing Edgerrin Cooper for this game. But I think we get a little revisionist history with both of these teams. The last time these two teams played, Green Bay controlled most of that game before Jordan Love gets hurt. And they were able to move the ball really efficiently on pretty much all downs and run the football very effectively against the Bears rushing defense, which has struggled over the course of this season. I think takeaways are going to be huge, as you pointed out. And if the Bears win the turnover battle, that absolutely makes this a little different. But I have a lot of faith in the Packers offense to continue to be able to move the ball just because of how the Bears defense has struggled over the course of the last couple of weeks. We saw it again last week against the Lions, right? They're able to get a couple turnovers on Jared Goff and force themselves back into that game. But on a down-to-down basis, Detroit was moving the ball very well with Jahmyr Gibbs and the outside run game, as well as over the middle of the field with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams. So I think this Packers offense being able to move the ball is going to be huge. I expect the Bears to be able to move the ball too, right? Because this Packers run defense has been really bad over the last couple of weeks, but they played well in that Packer game. And that really stands out to me. That Packer game 2 weeks ago, they were really able to slow the Bears run game and force them into tough situations. So I lean Green Bay here because I trust Matt LaFleur, because I trust Jordan Love, and I think the more experienced team wins it between two teams that I view as kind of evenly matched.
Yeah.
They are division rivals. That obviously adds a little bit to the game because familiar opponents, you know each other a little better than some other teams, so that could help the Packers, but nah. I think the Bears have it. I really do. I think they get this win. And then the Eagles go to travel to Chicago in the next week. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
In Chicago? Oh, boy. I
remember what happened the last time.
Fair enough. Doink. Doink,
Yeah.
doink, doink. Yeah, no.
So maybe we get that matchup again. It would be fun.
Maybe. That would be
Yeah,
cool.
no. I totally agree. Now, finally, the reason that we brought on Gerasimus. So, for those who do not know, Gerasimus is the so far the color analyst for the Blue Coats, the Sixers G League.
My home. I don't
affiliate.
know if you know this, Gerasimus. I live about 15 minutes away. So
Okay. All right. I'm about
home.
25 minutes out from Wilmington. So,
Yep.
all right, we're close then. But yeah,
Yep. I'm in
go
Newark.
Blue
Yeah.
Coats.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've seen, a lot of, Justin Edwards, a lot of Adembona, Jared McCain, that sort of thing. I just wanted to get, before we get into that, I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this most recent stretch of games for the Sixers, the main team. Disgusting game for the Nuggets. And Gerasimus, I said that you are one of the most. You said that you're one of the most positive Sixers fans in all of the universe. How the hell can you defend a game like that?
Oh man. Well, here's what I said. So first off, they were playing really well before that game. I think the Sixers have been on a really good stretch as of late. They had a really good win against the Knicks. Come on, you can't forget about that. VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey going at it there. They beat the Mavericks again. They beat the Grizzlies in overtime. That was a fun game. So also, not to mention that was the game that VJ had the winner. So I believe, or something like that. So they had a 3-game winning streak going into that game, and they just dropped one. It was a trap game. They were supposed to win that game against the Nuggets, and they didn't. But the thing that you look at this team, they're 20-15 after the win last night against the Wizards. They're 5th in the East, and Joel Embiid is playing games now, right? before the season even started, I looked at this roster, I looked at the depth, and I immediately was like, you know what? You look at this the Eastern Conference, there's not really many other teams that can match this kind of team on paper. And so I honestly thought they could win the East this year. I won't say they win the finals because the Thunder are so good. But I think they can win the East this year with the team they have and with the competition, because the Knicks, they don't match up well against the Sixers. We've already seen them lose twice in MSG to the Sixers. The Cavs, we'll see how the Sixers play them next week. They play them twice in 3 days. And then obviously Detroit's looking really good this season. So, but I think they're inexperienced, right? So I think the Sixers have all the right pieces right now to be a championship contender. Paul George, I don't want to hear the slander anymore. That guy is the best, plug him in player in the league right now. He can go into literally any team and fit into their system seamlessly. He's a great defender, still hits shots when you need him to, and I think that's the one guy I think people have really been going after the most. Joel Embiid has looked really good, and the thing that I want to emphasize is that what I think the Sixers have done a really good job with this year is they did not rush Embiid back. They eased him in. It was frustrating for Sixers fans because he really didn't play a lot. They eased him in. They slowly but surely ramped him up, and now we're in January, and he's playing nearly every game again. And he's going to still rest. He won't play back-to-back still. But they're managing him so much better that by the time the playoffs come, we're finally going to have a healthy Embiid, I think. And obviously, I don't want to jinx anything, so knock on wood. But they're looking really good right now. Embiid's looking really good. Maxi's a superstar. That guy's going to be, I think he's an MVP candidate, but right now it doesn't look like down the top 5 sheet from the NBA. But I still think he's an MVP candidate. He's a superstar, averaging 30 points a game. I mean, talk about the guy that's only improved every single year. He's literally improved his points per game every year he's been in the league. Isn't that crazy? And I just think you got these guys off the bench, Dominic Barlow. I call him Big Dom. He's the real Big Dom. He's looking really good right now. Yeah. I love how he contributes on the glass. Jabari Walker, another two-way guy and these are two guys that haven't even played with the Bluecoats this year because they contribute so much for the Sixers. And then obviously VJ Edgecombe. I mean, he's really come out of his shell and contributed immediately. I mean, the generator, as they're calling him. I mean, he's just done everything for the Sixers. So you look at this team and don't care about that Nuggets loss. It happens. It's a trap game. But if they keep winning 2 out of every 3 games, and Embiid keeps looking healthy, that's a win for the Sixers, because I know once playoff time comes, they're going to have some advantages actually over some of these teams in the Eastern Conference. But I think the depth looks really good. Actually, the only negative I have right now for the Sixers, and I think you guys would very much agree, Jared McCain still hasn't found his form. I think that's why they put him down with the Bluecoats. He did look good in his second game with the Bluecoats. I was grateful to call that game, and he looked really good with the Coats. They had him on 20 minute restriction, but the first game he was just looking for a shot. Second game he really looked like himself. But yeah, it just seems like he hasn't found some consistency yet, and they tried to get that with the Coats, and he looked good a little bit after his trip with Delaware, but still need to see a little bit more from him off the bench. But overall, the Sixers have looked really good. And I think their depth is also good with Quentin Grimes, what he's been doing off the bench.
Yeah. No, absolutely, Josh.
But sorry to ramble on. You guys go.
No, please. That's what you're here for. Please. I think there's some great points there, and I'm going to kind of meet you in the middle. I'm totally with you on ignoring what was Monday night, because this Sixers team has proved to us time and time again what they can be on both ends of the floor. I think there was a little bit of a lapse as a perimeter defense that night. That's something that they've struggled with over the course of this season. But, like you said, kind of these trap games. They had played 3 games in 5 days on the stretch before, right? That's a really difficult stretch, especially for a team led by a bunch of veterans. And I think that it kind of falls in that area. Where I have trouble with this 76ers team is still consistently, in viewing them where you do as, I guess, a finals contender, right? Continues to be just, I don't trust Joel Embiid's body to allow him to play for 4 rounds. And that's been my thinking since the beginning of time. 7-foot men are not really meant to move the way at times that Joel Embiid does. And he hasn't shown us that he's going to be able to do that. And I think in an East with a lot of teams that I think are able to physically tax you in a lot of different ways. I think that's crucial, right? We think about the earlier playoff runs for Embiid. I think he gets beat down by that Brooklyn Nets team early in that series, right? He gets beat down by a Miami Heat team in that series, right? They're trapping him. They're beating him in the low post. Like it's really physical basketball, and I don't trust him to hold up for that. But if there's ever going to be a Sixers team that is able to withstand Embiid's absence or lack of ability to be there, I think it is this Sixers team, and I think that's crucial to emphasize as well. The play of Tyrese Maxey, like you said, so improved as a 3-level scorer, improved as a defender. People don't want to talk about that. He's been a much better defender on the ball this season. VJ Edgecombe, what he brings you. I think the addition of Kelly Oubre back last night, huge for this team.
It is
what
huge.
He brings you
People forget what he was doing in the beginning of the season. He was having a career year.
Exactly. And you point back to that Nuggets loss, right? They're playing Adem Bona and Joel Embiid together in crunch time. And that's how you lose that game, is because from the perimeter, you're not able to close out and you're not able to really hide Embiid as a rim protector. So now you put a two-way versatile wing right back in that starting lineup to play late in these games. And I think that's going to be crucial for them down the stretch if he's able to stay healthy. And you pair that with a guy in Paul George, who we've loved what he's done over the course of this season. Like, they're so switchable. I've been calling it the death lineup just because it truly is one of the best lineups in basketball. And I have a lot of faith in that. Now, again, come postseason time, this Pistons team, they are one of the most physical defenses I've seen in the past half decade. I mean, what Jalen Duren and his improvement. I love Ron Holland. Like, they got a bunch of young dudes. It's a very physical basketball team. Even across the rest of the East, this Boston Celtics team, we know the Sixers' issues against them. If they're able to get Tatum back, Jaylen Brown, his improvement on the defensive end this year, they have a bunch of switchable wings that can really provide the Sixers with some problems. And the Sixers have lost to them twice, right, already this season. So that's going to be crucial. But yeah, I have a lot more faith in the Sixers team than I have in the past. I'm just not willing to go all the way yet.
Yeah. Now, guys, how do you see guys like, Justin Edwards, like, now the biggest question mark to me, Jared McCain, like Erasmus, like you mentioned, Walker, these blue coat players, Barlow, Dembona, because Dembona, I really thought that he should be Joel Embiid's primary center when Joel Embiid inevitably hits his minute restriction. But so far, we kind of there have been moments where we haven't seen that. We thought that Jared McCain was going to become this guy, and he was up to a point. He was the guy, to me at least, that you rely on to hit that clutch three. His stats from beyond the arc kind of ridiculous. But this year he's kind of taken a step back. He's had to go back to the G League and do some fine tuning. A lot of that due to injury. But how do you see that? How do you see that sort of contributing? How do you see those guys that so far contributing to this team, and how do you see them contributing to this team going forward? Gerasimus, we'll start with you because you've been up close and personal with these guys. You've talked to them. So how do you see those guys contributing to the Sixers at the big league level?
Well, I think the big thing you have to look at is the fact that all three two-way spots are filled, right? And two of them are basically not really two-ways, right? Jabari Walker and Big Dom, Dominic Barlow. Those two guys, they've been with the Sixers all season, and the Sixers only have so many roster spots, right? So they got to figure out how they're going to maneuver certain players, right? And the new two-way they just signed, by the way, Marjon Beauchamp, he's been really good with the Blue Coats this season. No appearances so far for the Sixers, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets playing time at some point. But to the guys you mentioned, I'll start with Adem Bona. If you watch some of the Sixers games, and Embiid's playing, he usually is the backup. And you see him also in most of the rotations that Nick Nurse likes to do. He has Embiid and Adem Bona on the court at the same time. And I'm a fan of it. Not laying the game like I know Adam didn't like that, and I agree with you. I don't like that lay in the game. But during the game, I love it because you have an athletic center that can block shots, that can, have the range that Embiid doesn't really have anymore, because Embiid used to get up there and he still blocks shots, but Adem Bona can really rise up there and get a swat, get a nice rebound. That's why I like that combo up front sometimes. And then when you have a guy like Andre Drummond, it gives you so much freedom with who you want at the center position, especially since Andre Drummond is now a corner specialist all of a sudden, which I love. But Adem Bona, he's only played one game with the Bluecoats this season. It was on the road, too. We didn't get to see him at the Chase Fieldhouse. Played many games last season at the Chase Fieldhouse, but he's really, I think, improved a lot. I think he could definitely be the backup. I think he's really offered a lot of, again, I think his presence is a big thing for the Sixers, right? As a center in the NBA, you need to have a physical presence, and he brings that, right? He's a great defender, like I mentioned, and he goes after the basketball. Whenever he has a chance to get a board, he gets it. So I've been very happy with him. I definitely think the Sixers need to value him. Justin Edwards, he has been with the Coats twice this year, one time at the Chase Fieldhouse very recently, actually. His role with the Sixers, he's supposed to be a spot-up shooter, right? He's supposed to be that guy, catch and shoot, hit a tray. He can sometimes drive to the basket. The reason why I think the Sixers put him down for a little bit, he was getting a little inconsistent, not being able to hit some shots. They just wanted to get him some extra touches with the Bluecoats, and he looked really good, I think, down with Delaware. He was starting to find his shot. He actually was a little more aggressive, I saw, which I was very happy with. He was going at the basket a lot, which I really loved. So I think if the Sixers can get that Justin Edwards off the bench, he can be like a sneaky good player, and I think they just need him to hit shots. They need him to hit those shots from beyond the arc, catch and shoot. Whenever they need it, spot-up shooter, that's who he's got to be with the Sixers. And he can be really good off the bench. And I think he can be another guy the Sixers can really look at and really value. Obviously, still don't know if they're going to think that way once it comes time, because two-ways can only play so many games in the NBA, right? You got to make a decision on Jabari Walker. You got to make a decision on Dominic Barlow. So you got to figure that out. And I think, like you mentioned with Jared McCain, he came out with the Coats for a little bit. Now he's back with the Sixers for quite some time. Like I said earlier, he's gotta find his role, I think, with this team, right? I think the role that Edgecombe has is the role I think McCain was supposed to have. And with Edgecombe playing so well and honestly does have more potential than McCain, he kind of is like, a puzzle piece that it doesn't fit in the puzzle right now. And you got to find a way to make it fit. So I think for Jared McCain, if you're Nick Nurse, you got to find a rotation. And this comes with time, which is good. You have time in the regular season. You got to find a specific rotation where Jared McCain is going to thrive. And I think once he starts hitting shots, because he does hit mid-range shots, like fadeaway shots, turnaround shots a lot in the mid-range, but you got to find ways where, once he gets his three-point shot going, anyone that can hit the three ball in the NBA is going to be someone that you want on your team. So once he gets that going, he's going to be big time. And then the last guy I'll mention real quick before I send it back to you guys, and he doesn't get a lot of mentions lately, Janai Broome, second-round pick this year for the Bluecoats. He has not had a lot of playing time with the Sixers lately. He's not even a two-way. He's been assigned to the Bluecoats for a lot of time. And at first, you got the sense that, he was probably a little disappointed to not get a lot of playing time with the Sixers. But I spoke with him after the game on Wednesday. He had a pretty good, a solid outing, a double-double. He seems to really be valuing that time, I think, now with the Bluecoats. Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse were both there, so they got Justin Edwards. Yeah, they got Justin Edwards and Janai Broome's support in that game, and Broome really seemed to just try to have fun. I think it's one of the things like you kind of underestimate when you go in the NBA. You got to try to have some fun sometimes while you're competing, and I think you start to see a little bit more of that from Janai Broome, and he's proven to be a 3-level scorer. He can shoot. He's really good inside the paint. He's got a nice hook shot. He's very physical. He's a big body, so I think the Sixers could use him as well down the stretch. I think this time with the Coats has really helped him kind of harness his talent alongside other NBA level talent. So I could see him maybe playing a role as well. But I guess, to put this all full circle, the fact of the matter is the Sixers this is a good problem for them to have. They have so many different tools for them to use. They have so much depth when they look at this whole team from what they have, who they have playing with the Coats, who they have playing at the NBA level. They have a lot of tough decisions to make, but it's a good problem to have if you're Daryl Morey and the Philadelphia 76ers, because you have so much versatility and you have so much depth.
Yeah. Adam,
Do you want to?
I know
Do you want to hit KJ's
yeah.
question before you?
Yes.
I think that's an important question, and
Yes.
then I'll do my thing and then head.
Yes. How is that? Yeah.
How's
Man.
Marjan Beauchamp looking? I think that's.
I mentioned it earlier. We love him. We love him in Delaware. He's been awesome. He earned the 2-way contract for a reason. Because of the Bluecoats waived Hunter South, who now just signed, by the way, with the San Diego Clippers, the G League affiliate of the Los Angeles Clippers. But so congrats to him. But Marjan Beauchamp has been really good. His shot is looking great. Hits shots when you need them. Really good driving to the basket. Really good defender as well. He has really good length. He's been getting some really good steals. He had a few steals in the last game and really good in transition as well. But he's a guy that, like, I've listened to him in other interviews with some of our other guys that do the games. He's just a guy that, like, is cherishing the moment, cherishing the opportunity, the fact that he is a 2-way player again. And he seems to really appreciate that and appreciate the opportunity. I think that's sometimes half the battle is you just got to, if you're not motivated to be great, then that's going to be a challenge. And he's very motivated as well. But yeah, Beauchamp has been really good, I think, with the Bluecoats, and I'm very excited to see if he can get some playing time with the Sixers as well. But he very much deserved the contract, the 2-way contract, because he's been, I think, the best performer so far for Delaware.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. You got?
Yeah. What do you got? You got something?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, no, I love hearing all that. I think, Gerasimos really hit it home. I think one of the things I really wanted to emphasize, the Sixers only have 20 games left with both Dom Barlow and Jabari Walker. And that's going to come to be crucial down the stretch, right? Because you have that 15th roster spot open. Who do you want to hold up that 15th roster spot? Are you going to have to cut somebody to make room? Like, how is this going to work over the course of the second half of the season? Who do you look to prioritize? I really have loved what Dom Barlow has brought just as, like, Heli Oubre insurance, and you've really needed it over the course of the season. But Jabari Walker has gotten more minutes and arguably has been more effective in them. He's been a great finisher around the rim. He's a great rebounder. He gives the Sixers a lot of the things that they need. And so I think it's a very complicated decision. I think they're probably going to end up keeping Barlow, but it's going to really hurt me to see Walker walk out that door if that's going to be the case.
Play on words
yeah, exactly.
But no, I'm with you. I love both of them because, like, Jabari Walker's I call him like a momentum player from what I've seen. Like, he makes like a one play there and the team gets hyped. Like he'll have like a big dunk or a big hustle play, like grabbing a rebound or something. And for some reason, since it's him doing it, like the team rallies behind that. And he's really, I think he's building chemistry with the team right now. I'd really be disappointed if you see him go just to get Barlow in. But I understand you can only make so many decisions with the amount of talent you have on both squads. But yeah, you said it there. I think it's up to 50 games you can have in the NBA if you're a 2-way. So it's going to be interesting, but it's a good problem to have.
Yeah. And I think before I go, I'll kind of close with, we talked a little bit about Jared McCain. I think the pressure on Jared McCain has been lessened because of how good Quentin Grimes has been. And so if there's a need for a trip to Delaware for Jared McCain, so Gerasimos can get to see him play one last time.
He did give me a fist bump one time.
There we go.
I will say that.
He seems like a very cool
individual. His smile is so I mean, it just brightens your day, right?
Yeah.
I like he came up to us real quick before one of his games, and he's awesome. He's a great guy. Like you want him to succeed. Like that's the thing. Like it kills me to see him, not be able to hit that 3 that he hit last year and contribute like he did. But if he can turn around, man, like he's a guy that I know is willing to do everything he can for the Sixers. I know he loves being here too. So
that's awesome. Yeah. So really excited to see what Grimes and if he's able to contribute. But I really appreciate you guys for having me. I gotta run, but I'll let you guys finish. Thank you so much, as always, to everybody and to Gerasimos, of course, for joining us. And
thanks for having me.
See you guys next week for some more Eagles. Be back soon.
Absolutely.
See you guys.
Go Birds.
Yep.
See you, buddy.
Go Birds.
I'll see you, Adam.
Go Birds.
See you, brother. See you soon.
All right, so it's just the two of us.
All right.
Just to wrap up the last hour, not hour, Jesus, last 6 minutes or so of this hour-long show. You'd like to go 45 minutes an hour. So
Oh yeah.
I'll hit you with this. With all these players that we've talked about, how do you see the minute restriction type players coming into fruition here? The Paul Georges, the Joel Embiids, because we saw earlier in the year, right, that they were on, especially PG, was on these minute restrictions. But now, as we go along, Joel Embiid and Paul George have played more minutes. They've had more playing time. So is that kind of how you see things going forward? And by the playoff time, this is sort of how things are? Or do you see at some point going down the stretch, depending on how they do, if they end up being first in the East, like you mentioned, do you see Nurse giving those guys a break and letting them load up a little bit before the playoffs start, before we probably get crushed by the Celtics in 5, because that's how the universe always freaking works in this stupid time.
I don't think this year. I don't know about this year.
Man.
That's what I'm pushing. But
yeah.
I mean, to your point about the minutes restrictions and these players that you got to watch, I think it's two different cases, right? For Joel Embiid, I mentioned it earlier, they've done a really good job managing his health. They don't want to ruin that, right? I think they're still going to keep. He's not playing back to back still. I'm pretty sure he won't. He's still. I think they're monitoring his minutes, but if they see that like he's feeling good and they kind of need him late in the game, that he's willing to go the extra mile. So I don't mind the Sixers doing that, but I think they definitely every game they have to monitor him. Like he's going to be on the injury report for the rest of the season is the way I kind of see it. Like whether he's probable, doubtful, questionable, what you name it, they need to put him on the injury report because they need to hey, if he's not feeling, right before a game, then yeah, all right, we'll let him sit out this one. And the best part is this Sixers team has proven, unlike years past, that they can win without a Joel Embiid on the court, right? Because Andre Drummond and Dembona have been a really good 1-2 punch at the center position. And they also, I think, with Maxey and Edgecombe and with Grimes and McCain, that's supposed to be a top tier backcourt, and I think they have shown that for the most part this season. And you're getting Kelly Oubre back. You have so much versatility, so much depth, where you can let him be, sitter game if you need if need be. So I think they still need to monitor him. They still need to ramp him up in a sense, but glad he's starting to play a little bit more games because you do need to build that chemistry and that cohesiveness somehow. Now, as for Paul George, I think they're going to try to get him to play as much as possible. I don't think it's because I think the difference between Embiid and Paul George is that Embiid, they have to monitor every game. I don't think you have to do that for Paul George. I think Paul George was just, all right, let him get by this knee issue. Then he'll be fine. Obviously, you still want to monitor him as you do with any player to make sure they're healthy. But I think it's not as concerning as making sure Joel Embiid's healthy by the playoffs. I think Paul George has looked really good. Physically, he's looked really good. Defensively, I think he knows he's a great defender, right? So, and I know he's been a great contributor this season. So I think for Paul George, definitely try to get him out there as much as possible because I know he can handle it more than Joel Embiid can. But yeah, Joel Embiid, you still got to watch out for him. But overall, everyone else on the team, you really don't have to worry about right now. I mean, Kelly Oubre now back. Trendon Watford hopefully comes back. That's another guy I feel like people have kind of forgot about. Trendon Watford was a really good contributor as well earlier in the season. I mean, it's kind of crazy how much depth this team has. I think that's really the bottom line with what I'm saying here is you don't really have to worry about these guys that they miss games because of all these other players that are ready to jump in and contribute right away.
Yeah, and I think before we wrap things up, I think that's the big difference between this year's team and a lot of the teams in years past. I think the reason that Joel Embiid has had these knee injuries is because he's had to rely on a washed James Harden.
He's overworked. His usage rate has been through the roof in past seasons. This year, he's been able to lay low and drop a quick 28 points or so, and he's still contributing, but he's not having to do it every second of the game.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. The fact that he can do that gives me a lot of hope for guys like VJ Edgecombe. once Joel Embiid is done, Maxey and VJ Etchum, I really do believe that they are going to be the next top 3 tandem, top 3 duo in this league. I really believe that VJ Etchum has the potential to become one of the greater rookies that this league has ever seen. I mean, you're talking about a guy that in his debut put up points that the same amount, around the same amount of points that Allen Iverson did in his debut. Like, are you serious? Like that is the rookie record. Or like, come on, that is absurd. But that's just what this guy is made of. This dude, he comes. The thing that I like about his story, he comes from such a humble background. You know, he comes from a place where a lot of the time at home he had to live with the generator on. So that's what I think we should be calling. We that's what I like to call him. I like to call him the generator.
Yeah,
you know, because he generates momentum, generates points. I really think that him in tandem with Tyrese Maxey, who I don't think he's just in the conversation for MVP this year. I think he's going to be in conversation for the MVP for the next 5-10 years. He's that much of a difference maker. And I really think that this year's Sixers team, it's not going to be a fluke. It's not going to be a fluke because, like, you know, at some point, yes, Joel Embiid's going to be gone. Yes, at some point, Paul George is going to be gone. But now, like you mentioned, with the depth of McCain, who could be a good trade asset in the future, although I don't think
I hope not. I'm hoping they avoid that, but I know this. I have a feeling the Sixers are trending towards some move at the trade deadline because of all the assets they have. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they even do anything because like what they have, it works and seems to be, you know, it seems to be a good collection of players.
Yeah. No, I would agree. Alrighty, folks. That is, I think it'll wrap things up for tonight. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to 302 Birds podcast live, and appreciate y'all for watching the Philly Sports Pulse, where we bring you news, insight, and analysis straight to the heart of the city of Philadelphia. Just want to thank our sponsors real quick. Nick's Pizza, Tech Pick, Fusco's, all the
Wait, Nick's Pizza. I love Nick's Pizza. I have to be honest. I'm a big fan. There's a Nick's Pizza in Glassboro. It's great.
Yeah. No, we've got a lot of the Delaware spots that people know and love. I've only been down to that area once. I've only been down to Delaware once. I was at not Founding Brothers, Klondike Kate's in Newark, Delaware. That place, we had a watch party for 302 Birds. Absolutely outstanding. The Burnt Coffee Company as well. Balboa Steaks, that's the big one. Bob's Hot Chicken, and of course, Tick Pick. Thank you all for sponsoring tonight's show. This is how we do these sorts of things. And I want to thank Gerasmos for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is a blast.
Yeah, I seriously, you are this podcast's first guest, and I
didn't know that. Now I'm incredibly honored.
Yes, yeah, dude. There's not many people that I know that are as in tune with the Sixers as you are. So I figured, you're the best. You're one of the best in the biz. So had to bring you on.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
yeah, I appreciate you, man. Alrighty, folks. That's gonna wrap things up here on 302 Birds, the Philly Sports Pulse. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night. Go Birds.
Yeah, go Birds.